The whispers of happiness had barely settled when a new storm rose over the quiet lives of Wang Yibo Xiao Zhan and their adopted son, Haoran. At first, their story touched hearts across the nation. Two of China's most beloved stars stepping into parenthood with bravery, defying societal norms. But no fairy tale comes without shadows, and this one was about to be tested in ways none of them ever imagined. It began with a cough, soft, repetitive, seemingly harmless. Haoran had just started attending a private early learning center, blending in with children who didn't know or care who his famous parents were. But that cough refused to go away. It deepened into wheezes, his tiny frame trembling in the early spring mornings. At first, both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan dismissed it as a seasonal cold. Like any new parent, they were hopeful. Over-the-counter meds, warm porridge, endless cuddles from Xiao Zhan, nothing seemed to help. When Haoran fainted during nap time at the center, everything changed. The phone call came while Wang Yibo was in the middle of filming a high-octane motorcycle sequence for an upcoming film. He dropped everything. Xiao Zhan was already at the hospital, Haoran pale, unconscious, hooked up to monitors. Yibo, he stopped breathing. Xiao Zhan's voice cracked, eyes rimmed with panic. The doctors worked swiftly. The diagnosis: respiratory complications triggered by an undiagnosed congenital condition, complicated by the environmental changes and emotional stress of transitioning to a new home. The guilt struck both men like a thunderclap. Had they missed the signs? Had the stress of media exposure made things worse? But the trials didn't stop there. Word leaked out. A nurse recognized them. Soon, paparazzi swarmed the hospital. Haoran's face, previously shielded, ended up splashed across tabloids. Some headlines were sympathetic, others were cruel. Child in danger under same-sex household, read one viral article. The couple, once again, found themselves battling public judgment. What should have been a moment of private crisis became a national circus. Xiao Zhan broke down in the hallway, surrounded by flashing cameras. "He's just a child. Please let him heal," he whispered. Wang Yibo stood firm beside him, shielding him from the mob, rage, and desperation radiating from his every move. In a dramatic turn, the birth relatives of Haoran, distant but legally significant under adoption laws, emerged to challenge the adoption, citing medical neglect. The legal team had to work around the clock. Wang Yibo was seen arriving at the courthouse in silence, jaws clenched. Xiao Zhan didn't appear. He refused to leave Haoran's side. Support flooded in from fans, celebrities, even former co-stars. Hashtags like #StandWithYibo trended globally. Letters arrived daily at the hospital. Some came from single parents. Some from LGBTQ+ couples who saw in Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan a reflection of their own hopes and fears. Meanwhile, Haoran remained fragile. Tubes ran from his arms, his breath shallow. At night, Xiao Zhan read him bedtime stories, his voice cracking. Wang Yibo learned to hum lullabies, not caring if he sang off-key. Every heartbeat from that little boy became their reason to keep fighting. Then, a miracle, slow but sure. Haoran opened his eyes one morning, whispering, "Baba?" His small fingers clutched Wang Yibo's sleeve, refusing to let go. Xiao Zhan collapsed into tears, finally allowing hope to return. The courts, overwhelmed with the public pressure and new medical evidence, sided with the couple. The challenge was thrown out. Haoran's adoption was reaffirmed, but the trauma left invisible scars. In a post that shocked and touched millions, Wang Yibo shared a rare black-and-white photo on Weibo. Haoran sleeping between him and Xiao Zhan, their hands gently resting over his heart. The caption read, "Not flesh of my flesh, nor bone of my bone, but still miraculously my own." The image broke the internet. Behind closed doors, the healing began. They moved temporarily to a private villa on the outskirts of Hangzhou to avoid the spotlight. There, surrounded by trees and lakes, they focused on rebuilding. Wang Yibo took a hiatus from work. Xiao Zhan returned to painting. Haoran learned to smile again. But the battle changed them. In a quiet interview months later, Xiao Zhan finally spoke. "We thought love was enough. But what we learned is that love must be fierce. We almost lost him. And now, we will never take a single moment for granted." The host paused before asking, "Are you afraid of what the future holds?" Wang Yibo answered, "Yes. But we're more afraid of a future without him." This chapter in their lives, dramatic and heartbreaking, wasn't something they had planned. But as millions watched from afar, one truth emerged more clearly than ever before. Families are not built by blood alone, but by choice, by courage, and by relentless, unwavering love. The world saw a power couple rise. But in truth, what they saw was something far rarer. Two men, bruised by scrutiny, fighting against fear, and choosing love anyway. And in the quiet moments, far from the stage lights and cameras, three hearts beat in sync. Wang Yibo Xiao Zhan and their son, Haoran. A family, hard-won and undeniable.